Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. And for today's episode, the two matches that we promised you, Barcelona and Manchester City. Two very tough games for different reasons, of course. In the Champions League, we're expected to get to the quarterfinals, so we need to beat Barcelona to reach there, because this is still the first knockout round. We've been a bit unlucky with some of the draws we've had this season. And then Manchester City, we've got the Carabao Cup final. So, a trophy up for grabs, and hopefully we can be the ones to grab it, really. A couple of updates. Of course, we want to show you what happened since the last episode. It's been a month's time, of course. Barcelona in general are tough opponents, but I'm getting the feeling that I should be changing the tactics, or at least tweaking it. We can stick with the same formation, and we can just move to my preferred one. Really, either one would work. But I get the feeling that this type of tactic would actually work better if we play more direct. It seems to make the most sense. My assistant manager is practically telling me to do it almost every single game. And I think just with a 4-1-2-1-2, as much as you think is good for possession, it really could go either way depending on how you use it. But it just seems to make a bit more sense to play direct. I think my players would benefit from it a bit more. But before making complete wholesome changes, I'm just a bit tempted to tweak things around a bit more. And I think we might be a bit better by just asking our central midfielders to stay wider or run wide with the ball. I think I'm going to go stay wider for now and see what happens in the game itself. Hopefully we don't get absolutely destroyed by Barcelona. I have a feeling it's going to happen either way. I really don't want to change tactics halfway through the season, so I'm going to try and make it work as much as possible without. But this is the team we're going for today. Really main absence is just Paul Pogba, who's recovering from injury. He should be back for the second leg. But otherwise a fully fit squad. So we've got Young coming in for Nacho, who had a poor game in the last time around. We've got Lindelof and Bayo, our first choice. Shaw coming in for Sandro, who's just about recovering from an injury. Matic is our first choice. Pereira filling in for Pogba. We've got Fred here as well. Lingard's our first choice, and so is Sanchez, and it's pretty much Martial coming in for Lukaku, who again just needs a tiny bit of rest by the looks of it, and just recovering from an injury he suffered recently too. Anyways, in terms of actual schedule, it's just there's been tiny suggestions that we can do a bit more. Overall, we've had a decent season, but I just get the feeling that we can push it a tiny bit more. We're kind of scraping past teams, luckily, of late, even though we're getting results. So we showed you the game against Arsenal, actually, the 2-1 win in the FA Cup 4th round. We managed to get a much better 5th round opponents in Sheffield United. But otherwise, we played the Premier League game against Newcastle, Southampton and Brighton. Managed to beat Newcastle 2-1. Again, they opened the scoring. We managed to recover through Martial and Rashford. Against Southampton, it was a 1-1 draw, disappointing one. Lindelof was the one who grabbed the goal as well. And we were forced to draw. We had 30 minutes to try and get the win, but we couldn't at home. Very disappointing result. Managed to beat Brighton, but just about, again, just scraping past teams at the moment, and it's almost like we're scoring goals by luck. So I'm not sure whether the game has found out our tactics or it's just the way we're playing it. But I think we can do a bit better, so I'm going to try and see whether we can tweak it a bit before changing it completely. But anyways, just 6 points the difference between ourselves and City. We still need to beat them to try and change things around. Unfortunately, even though we capitalised on one result, they had a draw against Burnley, I think. We managed to win our game and we closed that gap, but then again we drew and they carried on winning their games, and so the gap reopened again. Still a couple of games left of the season, about 12 now, so it's not the end of the world. If we beat them, which we're going to face them in the next episode in the Premier League, then we can still make amends, really, and hopefully there's time to still win the title this season rather than wait until next season. And I think that's it. So yeah, we've got a Sheffield United game in between the City and Barcelona one, so we won't be showing you that one. We'll just kind of skip through, and hopefully we can get a nice little result away from home. A single goal would be good, and then against City we can win our first trophy, which is up for grabs. But I think that's kind of it. So I think we can go ahead and get into it. I've asked my players to stay wider. I'm also tempted to tell them to run wide with the ball when they have it. It's tempting, but I think I don't really want to ask that, because I want my wingers to provide the width to get past the players and dribble with the ball themselves. My fullback, sorry. So let's see how that tweak works in and of itself. Of course, we're going to make some more tweaks because Sanchez isn't a target man. It's just set that way for our first choice striker, which is Lukaku, and we normally have Sanchez on the left as a advanced forward. So I figured out, by the way, that the game actually does show the full lineups. It just takes a little while to pop up like it did here. Barcelona with a traditional 4-3-3. Thankfully for us, Messi's missing. But otherwise a decent side, and definitely caused us trouble. You'd be seriously making a case to argue that our XI is better than theirs. Without a doubt, they're better than us, but we need to try and get a result away from home nonetheless. So we can make those tweaks. Now we're going to ask Sanchez to play as a complete forward on support instead of a target man, because that's definitely not his strength. Sanchez is actually okay as a complete forward on support. I think I've showed you guys before, but just to give you an idea, he's got nice little vision passing. He can play the role really well. He's only lacking in jumping reach and strength, but only by a tiny bit. He'll still be kind of okay. That's more to do with his size rather than his actual ability. And so his ability on the ball should definitely make up for it, because otherwise he's got all the attributes to succeed in that role too. And I think that's pretty much it. We've got Pereira. We're going to actually let Pereira be a bit more of a playmaker. Fred, I mean, they're both playmakers obviously, but Fred's a bit better in tackling, so we'll ask Pereira to stay on the left where he doesn't have to tackle as much. And I think we're good enough to go. So just the team talk. We're going to be underdogs, if I'm assuming. Nope, we're not. So let's go with this team talk. Just trying to encourage our players to get some decent results. We're only going to be showing key highlights because we've got 2 games to get through. So let's do that. Key highlights. And let's get the goals on in 3D as always. There you go. I think we're ready to go now. Alright, and the team talk, let's go. Okay, so we're going to get a bit of a better idea about how our shape looks like once we receive the ball, and my central midfielders are supposed to spread a bit, and hopefully we can not only just dominate possession on the ball as well, but hopefully our overall shape will be a bit better. So if you just, I couldn't get to pause it, can I go back a tiny bit? How do I go back without going too far back? Okay, I think this is where he kicks the ball up. Okay, so just if I can pause this just here for a second. So this is kind of why the 4-1-2-1-2 can work as a direct type of football, because you've got pretty much like almost 3 strikers. I mean, if you just have a look at the initial shape here, it's almost like 3 strikers, 3 midfielders. So you can lob the ball forward to them and they'll still cause plenty of damage. Whereas if we tweaked our tactics a tiny bit more, you'd probably see that again, now the midfield's involved. So you could really go either way, and I'm hoping I can tweak. Martial almost scored a beautiful solo goal, but unfortunately he shot it right at the goalkeeper. But yeah, I'm hoping to try and tweak it instead of completely changing up the system halfway through the season. It's never good. Anyways, Martial wins the initial header, only down to Lingard. If he can find Andres Pereira, has another chance to cross it in. It's a poor ball and Roberto picks up on it. Not sure why he didn't put it into the box right away. Lindelof tries to get there ahead of Coutinho, but instead the Brazilian gets there, and now he's running down our flanks. Alright, no one necessarily stopping him, and it's a decent shot, but thankfully it's wide, and my players need to be wiser to that kind of threat that Coutinho can perform. I'm also hoping with the stay wide instruction to my central midfielders. There you go, Shaw coming off right away. Sandro's not necessarily fit, but now we have to ask him to do a job. Shaw's been pretty much injured the whole season for us. It's been very disappointing, and I'm thankful that I didn't rely on him as my first team left back. But yeah, in terms of asking my central midfielders to stay wide, I'm hoping that will help deal with the threat out wide from the fullbacks and so on and so forth. Sanchez is dropping way too deep for my liking here. He's a striker, but he's far forward. We deal with that relatively well enough, and we just need to try and get something here. Sorry, I keep moving it, but I just want to see the assistant manager so I can tell if it's going to be a... Alright, rotating the ball kind of weirdly in midfield, but eventually it does work its way to Sandro. He can find Martial down the wing if he wants. He beats his man instead, and that's exactly what we want from our complete wing back. He just has to get to the byline and deliver a cross. There's about 3 players in the box. Decent enough aim. Martial heads. He's beaten the keeper, but he's also beaten the crossbar, and it remains 0-0. Remember, we are trying to grab as many away goals as possible. Lingard picking up an injury after a challenge with Alba, and that's not too good, but we do have, I think we have Mata on the bench, so we'll make that change if we need to. Coutinho cutting inside again. Spreads it to Dembele, who beats Alexandro, but we just need to stop the cross getting in, and he makes amends by winning the ball back. He kind of gives it away right away, but Matic is there to pick up the pieces, and now it's Fred on the ball. Square to Andreas Pereira, forward to Lingard, and then square to Sandro, working the ball well so far. What can Martial do here? Leads the charge. He's going to go on a solo run by the looks of it. I hate it when players pick up the ball that deep, and then it's just, it happens a lot in FM, but it's really not realistic in real life. He's instructed to play shorter. Advanced forward does mean that he dribbles plenty, which I can understand why he did it there. But at the same time, it just didn't make sense why he didn't square it and then make the run into the box. He had about 2 players ahead of him. It's not like he didn't have options and he started to dribble. But you just kind of have to deal with it. Look at our shape. Ooh, Ter Stegen. Is that out? Nope, Coutinho makes it. No, Young forward to Alexis Sanchez, but PK's there first, and Barcelona have the ball. Alright. Dealing well with them so far. But we do need to just step it up a tiny bit, just one gear. Looks like Barcelona's players are doing the same thing as ours, just so that we can try and still grab something from the game. Alright. I think I want to ask Pereira to do a tiny bit more in terms of attacking, just to get the ball forward a bit more. I'm going to take off Lingard at half time as well. I don't want to risk him getting a terrible injury. Dembele cuts inside again. It's like people can walk through our midfield at this point. Got 4 midfielders, but none of them can do anything there. A bit slow to come across to him. Sanchez and Martial, our front 3 really just underperforming. And I think that has everything to do with us not playing direct, probably. Right, let me see what my assistant manager says. He shows the short passes are connecting well. We give them too much space to take shots from inside our own area. And Dembele's Dembele's just allowed to do whatever he wants by the looks of it. Yeah, I'm tempted to tell my players to play direct and see what happens from it, because too often in games, my front 3, all of them play poorly. It's not like just one of them or something, it's all of them. And it's normally in big matches, to be honest. I think that's just because the ball's not getting to them quick enough. They're not allowed to do what they want, maybe. Let's try and see whether this will help make a change. Let's just ask them to play more direct. And see whether that helps with anything. And I do want to switch Sanchez around with Martial, so we'll do that. And that. Let's see whether that will help. That's not exactly the ideal tactic. There's plenty more tweaks I'd like to do, but I just don't want to do it halfway through the game. So I just want to see if playing direct will see us play a bit better or not. Alright, let's ask our players to do it for the fans. Not the best response, but hopefully this will make up for it here. Yeah, it does. Ready to walk through walls. And let's hope they walk through Barcelona's defensive walls. Lindelof forward to Fred. Spreads it to Sandro well. And that's the end of that. Alright. Barcelona with the corner. Dealt with... no, it's not. Suarez comes from the freaking near post into the middle. Heads it really well, to be honest. He's done incredibly well for that goal. Apparently Sanchez is the one to blame for it. I'm not sure why he's man-marking the guy in the first place. Okay, my assistant manager is now telling me to play short passing play. He's going to drive me nuts. But look at that. That's as good as it gets in terms of a header from your striker. You can't ask for more. He's not even a target man. He's hitting those kind of things in. And again, another set piece play for the Barcelona. Cleared initially. Sandro can get it down to Andreas Pereira. If he can find a nice beautiful ball is on for Martial. He's free. Can he convert though? That's the question. Yes, he can. There you go. It's 1-1. We wanted the away goal. We've got it, and if we can grab a few more to that, that would be even better. But that's exactly why we're playing more direct. Look at this. I really thought he was going to hold on to that ball stupidly, but it's a beautiful ball through to Martial. There's 2 Barcelona players and a goalkeeper, but none of them can do anything about it. Bear in mind, Barcelona's goalkeeper is similar to ours, in that they're both playing as a sweeper keeper. But he still couldn't sweep that ball through, and that's just the weight of the ball from Pereira, and of course Martial's run helped create that opportunity. But the highlight doesn't end there, and I'm hoping when it does end, it's in our favour. Good win by Matic. Fred is there to play it forward to Mata, under pressure, but he deals with it well, and he was going to spread it to Young. And what can he do here, the veteran All Englishman? Right, we're going to assume that was a cross, not a shot. Nonetheless, Barcelona win the ball back, and now we have to deal with them again. Martial trying to pressure Ter Stegen. Is he going to be able to do it? Yes, he does. The question is, can he finish? He chips, but he chips too high. And Martial's on fire at the moment. Alright. It looks like they are struggling to deal with us a bit more though, so at least in this game, direct seems to be helping. Alright, we're going to take off Sanchez for Lukaku. We're going to play him as a target man. His favoured role. And let's see what he can do off the bench. Alright, just before that substitution is made, there's one more highlight. Sandro loses out to Dembele. And he's going to cut inside really easily again. So Lindelof is there, but not really there. And eventually the shot is dealt well with De Gea. Alright then. Gets more and more intense as it goes on. I want to get the winner though. I don't want to settle for a point, but I might be forced into going more. I'm not even going to get a point by this rate. We're going to go into attacking. Let's leave that as is for now. But I might have to ask Fred to be a bit more attacking as well. But this is just disappointing defending from my players. I mean, 2 set pieces is basically what did us. Can't blame De Gea for either one of those either. Top bins from Suarez and PK. My players need to try and recover again. Mata spreads it to Fred. Lindelof forward to Young. And De Gea beats his man well, but it's all about the cross now. He's got plenty of players to aim at. Lukaku! And that's the difference between Lukaku and Suarez. And of course Lukaku and even PK at this point. He's a target man. He should be tucking those kind of chances away. But unfortunately he didn't, and we might have to settle for just 2-1 by the looks of it. We're going to ask Fred to go more attacking. I'm going to go for it, why not? And let's hope that we can still nick a result here. Just a second away goal would do us well, and if we keep a clean sheet, we might be okay. Not over yet, of course, at Old Trafford. If we keep a clean sheet and grab a goal, we'll be okay either way. Putting Barcelona under pressure, but not enough. We can't seem to win the ball back just yet. Sergio's there, Sergio Busquets, I'm assuming. Spreads it well to Dembele. Sandro wins it well, though, and now we can try and hit them on the counter. What's he doing here? Loses out, but Andreas Pereira is there to mop it up, and he plays a beautiful through ball to Martial again, and this time it's freaking crossbar or post. But that's exactly where we can cause them damage. Hitting them on the counter. Unfortunately, can't do that right now because we're trying to win the game. Playing attacking doesn't mean you don't counter-attack. It's just a different type of football, isn't it? And it looks like it's going to be 2-1 in Barcelona's favour. So we just need a 1-0 result at home. I think playing direct has definitely seen an improvement in the second half. Could have easily have been the team talk, but I think just the way we were playing our football just seemed a bit better. It just seemed to work more cohesively, I think. So I'm tempted to make that tactical change. Pereira, Martial heads it down well to Lukaku. No time though to make anything of it. Offside for Martial, and that should be the end of that. So let's have a quick look at the stats. Clear-cut chances. Okay, thank you. We had 2 clear-cut chances to their 0. And it makes sense because they scored both their goals on set pieces, like we said. We had less possession because we were going on direct, I suppose, but maybe they kept the ball better too. But 2 clear-cut chances. Both fell to Martial. He converted one, but he didn't convert the other. We can actually have a look and see whether both fell to Martial. So let's turn off half chances. Yeah, both were Martial. Unlucky, it happens sometimes. And I think Barcelona a bit lucky. And Pereira had a hell of a game, in all honesty. So yeah, I am tempted to change to a direct type of football, but we'll need to change some roles around, and doesn't really work in terms of the players that we've invested in. We're looking for complete fullbacks, complete wingbacks, and now I might have to change into fullbacks on support because we're looking for that Yeah, I mean, I'll have a look at what kind of tactical tweaks we can make. But anyways, there's a game in between, so bear with me while we try and deal with that. Hopefully Shaw not out for long. Nope, 5 to 6 weeks, that's great. Lingard not as long though. I'll just leave to the physio to deal with that. Let's talk to Shaw quickly. Alright. Matic also struggling with fitness. Alright, so yeah, we'll be back in just a moment's time. Alright guys, welcome back. We got the game against City now, so hopefully we do manage to bounce back with a win and grab the first trophy that's up for grabs really. And yeah, we're going to try and stick with this tactic. We managed to beat Sheffield United 3-1 by trying that whole direct system, seeing if it was going to work. It seemed to be okay against Barcelona. We kind of got a result against Sheffield United. Herrera getting sent off means that he won't be available for today's match. We created some decent chances, but overall I think it doesn't have any more to offer than our current system. So maybe we could do a game of two halves, start off with this one and then try the second half this other system and see what works best for us. And yeah, I think let's just go ahead. We managed to beat City with this tactic before, so let's try and see whether we can beat them again. Are we just not good enough and that's why we're picking up some kind of shaky results, or you know, I could just be tweaking too much, to be honest, with the tactics, and we could just be in a bit of a weird run of form, I suppose. But anyways, 4-3-3 from City. They're going with a near full strength side, trying to win the cup themselves. We've also got a bunch of our key players, and hopefully that'll be good enough. We are missing a couple, like our midfield mainly is the ones that suffer, but the players coming in should be able to do a decent job themselves. And I think we're good to go as is, so let's hope and let's see whether we can do it. Alright, team talk, where there's no home favorites or whatever, so let's try and see. Never used this team talk. Let's go there and see what happens. Alright. And we just about ready. Okay, let's do it. So of course, not the biggest trophy on offer, but you want to win it nonetheless, and more so because it's against your rivals. We've already lost the ball, so that's good to see. Fellaini does come across well and wins it back, and hopefully that's the end of any Manchester City attack. Remember, we do struggle against the 4-3-3 typically. Yeah, I don't want to tell them to stay wider. Can I actually still tell them to run wider the ball? Let's see if that instruction works better for us than stay wider, because I felt like the stay wider one didn't make any difference in truth. Let's go with that and see what happens. Alright, almost an immediate highlight to that in reaction. De Gea punches clear instead of grabbing it. That's kind of weird. Silva's there to keep the City attack alive. Squares it well to Bernardo Silva. Fernandinho, Sané. Sandro clears it and Pereira's there. And well, I guess he makes the clearance official, I suppose. A couple of players forward waiting for that ball, but it doesn't reach them, and City come again. Alright then, let's see what happens. Kun Aguero. Tackle him out of the game. What are you doing? Walker shouldn't be getting this far forward this easily. Sané under it, and he does really, really well. That's just poor from Young, to be honest. It's not like Sané's got incredible height or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense for him to lose out to that header. And we concede from a chance that's not even a clear-cut one. That's what makes it the worst of all. Walker does well. Matic is slow, doesn't really keep up with him, doesn't close him down, doesn't stop the cross coming in. And Young should be better than that. David De Gea, can't really blame him. You'd hope for a super save, but not a good start for my players at all. Alright. Question now is, can we recover? Looks like we've given Sané a bit of a knock, so that's helpful for me, I suppose. Laporte is there for City, trying to play their way out of the back. Danilo's there as well. Back to Laporte. Now, just if we put pressure on them slowly, I'm quite sure we can win the ball back. Stones, forward to Bernardo Silva. They're working it well. Shaw, stay with your man. It's not even Shaw, is it? Sandro, sorry. Young also doing the same thing, kind of pressing forward on the wingers and just hoping someone picks up the fullbacks. And City do love getting their fullbacks forward. Alright, Walker on the ball. Someone should be keeping an eye on Silva, apparently not. Andreas Pereira letting him roam free, and he's going to go all the way by himself here. Oof, that hits a crossbar. It's still in play? Nope. Gone out for a goal kick, I guess. That's as dangerous as it comes, though. Alright, let's push on Pereira a bit more. And I think even go into attacking, because at the moment Eric Bailly has been error prone apparently. It's not good to see. My players are just not alive to today's game. Not a single shot on target, and they're just not on it at all. Alright, not too good to see. Front three underperforming again, Pereira struggling. And in the second half we will tweak our tactics and see whether it can help us. Of course, telling my players off should help too. But I want to see tactically whether we can improve. We didn't create a single chance of note in that half. So we're going to go with this. Just a couple of tactical tweaks. We're just playing more direct. And it's not fullbacks and support. We're going to ask for our wingbacks to play on defend duty. And yeah, I think that will be alright for now. Let's ask these to switch roles and see what happens. Right, we do want a better second half performance from you. You need to wake up a bit. Ready to walk through walls. Let's see that kind of mentality on the pitch instead. Alright then. We're asking our fullbacks to be a bit more defensive, not only to help us deal with City's threat, but at the same time also because in that role and in that duty they cross from deep, which is what we're kind of looking for from our fullbacks. We want that kind of direct style of play, but we're not really playing wingers, so we have to make up with it with our fullbacks delivering when they do have the opportunity to deliver the ball, they deliver it from deep. And not to the byline like our other instructions are asking for. Just about survive that. Lindelof clearing it, and we're not alive to it still. Just hoping direct would help us. Let's see, maybe it's not over just yet. De Gea forward to Sandro. Bernardo Silva who picks up instead. Aguero square to Sane, who's the danger man in the first half. Good ball into the box, needs to stop it. Lindelof clear only as far as Mata. Heads it onto Alexis Sanchez. And the question is, can he find a good ball now? Square to Matic, Fellaini. Doing okay so far. Forward to Andreas Pereira. Back to Bailly. Spreads it to Sandro well. And now it looks like we're cooking a bit. Up to Lukaku. The advance forward, dropping a bit deep for my liking. But Mata takes up his position nonetheless. And Pereira finds Alexis Sanchez well. Back to Fellaini. Alright. Looks like we're keeping the ball a bit better. Sanchez takes on one. Takes on two. Just need to deliver the ball now. Good ball. Lukaku's under it. It's just past the post. Alright. A bit better. I think it's the substitutions that will make the difference in truth. Because at the moment, too many of them are underperforming. Alright then. We do have some game changers on the bench. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring on Pogba. We're going to take off... Who do we take off? Sanchez or Lukaku? Lukaku's had a worse game. And then Lingard on for Mata a little bit later on. Let's just stick to those two changes for now. Try not to try too many long balls. Okay, that's a bit weird. Aguero sneaks in off our own player. Ashley Young is just having absolute mare today. De Gea saves it, but pushes it into Young, I suppose. Yeah, just bouncing off each other, and City are 2-0 up and they look like they're going to get the trophy on their hands. And my players have not showed up today whatsoever. I really do think I'm tweaking too much. That's probably what the problem is. I need to have some faith in my tactics. But yeah, this is not good at all. City come again. Got Carrasco now. Danilo. Square to Aguero. Looks like it's going to be 3-0. Yep, 3-0. Might as well just go back to my old tactics. This is clearly not working. And I should have kept the faith. Alright. Yeah. Terrible. Just a terrible day all around. Don't even want to watch this. 3-0. City running away with the trophy. You can't even get a single shot on target, let alone a single goal. I'm not sure what's going on with my players. At least looks like it's going to be the end of the highlights, because I can't stand seeing another City goal. And 3-0 result without a single shot on target kind of explains the way we played today. And that is the end of my tweaking without a doubt, because I'm not going to mess around my tactics anymore. Probably mess about with my players too much. Not good. Not good at all. Already told them off at half time. Telling them off again now isn't going to make a difference. Come on, boys. Heads up. First trophy has come and gone. Thankfully, it's not a huge one. We were hoping to get our hands on it nonetheless. The main thing we care about, though, is the Premier League. And we definitely need to step that up. So definitely not going to do this anymore, that's for sure, the whole direct thing. Let's ignore that. What I might be tempted to change to is just the tactic that I prefer playing with anyways, which is a 4-2-3-1. Let's keep it on like this and see what happens. Okay, so let me look at my schedule. I feel like I'm over-exaggerating our form. So this is how it's been all season round. We haven't really lost too many games. Gone on nice little winning runs. A couple of draws that we shouldn't be drawing. But overall, that 4-1-2-1-2 tactic was working. Bit of a decision to make now. Anyways, just one game in between the next set of Manchester City and Barcelona games. And that will be what we'll be showing for you for the next episode. So that's all for today. So if you did enjoy it, of course, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification button if you're not. And that'll be all. So thank you again for watching.